Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at some new cards that have been introduced within the new structure deck, Overlay Capture. Zexal Servant Utopic Sage is a rank 4 light attribute warrior type Xyz monster with 2000 attack and 2500 defense. It requires 2 level 4 monsters to summon it. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. You can detach 2 materials from this card. Special summon 1 Zexal Weapon or Zexal Servant monster from your deck. Also for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Xyz monsters, nor attack except with number monsters. 2. If a Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster you control, whose original attribute is light other than Zexal Weapon, Utopic Sage would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. So this is meant to be another version of support for Utopia. So you've got the Zexal Weapons and you've got the Zexal Servants. Those are 2 separate parts of the same archetype, which are sub-archetypes within Utopia. The first effect to detach 2 materials means you're using up both materials for the effect, but you're able to then search instantly for one of your Zexal Weapons or Zexal Servant, depending on which effect you want, and then you're able to then equip those monsters to your Utopia. So depending on your situation and depending on what you need, that can actually be very easy to access. The secondary ability provides your Utopia with a one-off protection. Likelihood is you've probably used this card's effect already to get your Zexal Weapon to the field. You probably don't really need it, so it can be used just as a form of protection, whether that's on the field. But it's better ideally if it's used its protection effect whilst it's in the graveyard. At least you've maximized its usage. Contract of Destiny is a continuous trap card with the effect. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Each time a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, place 1 Emperor's Key counter on this card, maximum 1. 2. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you can remove 1 Emperor's Key counter from this card, send 1 the Door of Destiny from your hand, deck or face-up field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 light attribute Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster from your extra deck, and if you do, attach this card to it as material. This is treated as an Xyz summon. The good thing about this card is the summoning condition and the effect is actually really easy to pull off. It's every time one of your cards is destroyed by battle or card effect, so it doesn't have to be one of your monsters, it can be one of your spell or trap cards. So long as it goes, you get the Emperor's Key counter. It does have to activate on response to your opponent's special summoning a monster from the extra deck, but that's fine. Provided you do that, you can go into any of your Utopia monsters, and there aren't any limitations into what you're summoning. So long as it's a Utopia or a Utopic monster, you're instantly able to do that, and it's a case of you do get to use this card as part of its material, so it's not a case of you're not going to be able to use those effects. And the final card is Numbers Protect. This is a counter trap card with the effect. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. 1. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, and you control a number Xyz monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. 2. If a number Xyz monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is very similar to things like Solemn Judgment, as it's able to kind of shut down anything, but it's just specific for number monsters. This is very useful because it does provide your number monsters with a level of protection, and it does have the benefit of being able to be used twice. It's like cards such as Lost Wind, which once activated can be reset to the field. There does have to be conditions that have to be met, but this is a simple one. You're going to be running a number-based deck, and if your number monster happens to be destroyed either by battle or card effect, which is a nice thing of the effect, it's not one or the other, it's both, then you're just able to reset this and potentially go into another number monster. Then you have the ability to then protect that monster with this card's first effect. Overall, I like the designs of these cards and I think they're all very useful. I don't think any of them is particularly weak, although if I was going to choose one, I do think the Zexal Servant Utopic Sage might be classified as the weakest, just because it's very dependent on other cards and it's more of a search for the deck. It does require 2 level 4 monsters, easy enough to do, but would you want to be wasting the extra deck space to put this in there? Considering the number of Utopia monsters out there you've got, this is probably the one you're least likely to want to run. What do you guys think? Which of these cards is your favourite and which one don't you like? Do you agree with me that the Utopic Sage is a bit weaker than the others? Put those in the comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.